This is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming transit of Venus in the Libra sign, which is going to be taking place on October 18th. So from October 18th till November 10th, Venus is going to be transiting in its own Mool Trikona sign. But now friends, during this year, it is a little bit special transit of Venus, because beyond doubt, from past couple of days, as Venus is combust, Venus was debilitated, it was a alarming sign. Now things are gonna get improved in the matters or signification of the Venus, but over during this time, once Venus will enter the sign of Libra, it is going to get conjunct with Ketu, which could be one red flag. It is going to get conjunct with a debilitated Sun, and it will be receiving the 10th aspect from the planet Saturn as well. And on October 24th, Mercury will also enter the Libra sign. So because of which, there is a whole lot of planetary influence which will be influencing the qualities of the Venus. Now, a lot of you must be wondering that why I'm just making repetitive videos. If you have already listened to the Sun's entry in the Libra, so then this video might not prove to be very helpful. But you have to understand this thing, that it all comes down to individual to individual. Like listening to this video from Venus's perspective will become more important for someone in whose case the pressing issue right now is of the marriage, of matrimonial concern. And if a Venus is right now active in your case, in your life, in the form of you're going through Venus Mahadasha, Venus Antardasha, you are a fashion designer, you are a content creator, in any way if you are connected with the fields of art and media and creativity, then definitely listening to this video from Venus's perspective will become important for you. Same is the way, like if someone is about to appear in any government job exam, or someone who is holding a top government portfolio, so that Sun's transit video in the Libra will become more important for that person. So now friends, first we will try to understand the combined influence of other planets on this year's Venus's transit in the Libra, and then we will shift to the customized results for all the rising signs. So now, how does other planets are going to be influencing Venus in Libra? So we have to give more attention towards the influence of Ketu coming in the qualities of the Venus, because definitely Ketu is a karmic planet. Ketu can actually make you very hypercritical pertaining to the matters of the planet which it is going to be influencing. So definitely Venus, which is the significator of some wise choices which leads you towards higher fulfillment. Venus is the significator of love, relationship, of artistic creative talents and taste. So definitely this can be seen as a boon for someone who is connected with these artistic and creative fields, where you will want to be very critical and very meticulous in your craft, in your work. In the matters of relationship, it can actually make you very this can give rise towards the behavior of nitpicking or fault finding. Over there you have to remain a little bit cautious. Now when we talk about the karmic side of it, so definitely Ketu has got the information of all the deeds done by you in the past so many lifetimes, and the way Ketu affects the Venus, it will become more applicable in those cases where the whole chart is karmic in nature. Now when I say the whole chart being karmic, so let's say for example you have got a Kal Sarp Yoga, that all the planets in your case are in the axis of Rahu and Ketu, with Moon either conjunct with Rahu or Ketu, or Moon sitting in the nakshatra of either Rahu or Ketu. Then you can say that okay, this chart is a karmic chart. Or in any way, like the way we say that a majority of your planetary concentration is in the 8th house, in the 12th house, then in those kind of scenarios, this transit of Venus and influence of Ketu on it can manifest some karmic results as well. Like someone who has been single for a long time and without any answers, that irrespective of you trying to find love, why things are not happening. So suddenly some karmic connection with someone with whom you had some past chemistry, those relationship and energy of those relationship can surface or can come up in your life. The negative side of this could be that if you have done something wrong pertaining to the matters of the feminine energy, like you have done something or you have exploited someone in the past. So like the way certain times on and off we keep on hearing about the Me Too movement. So these kind of transit can give rise to these old archives, old repressed emotion suddenly coming up on the surface and troubling you. And here we are not only talking about the emotions, here we are talking about the people's presence in your life. So which can, the ghost of your past can haunt you. So this could be a karmic impact of this connection of Ketu with Venus can also be understood in this way. And friends, like if you want to understand it from the perspective of the Lal Kitab. So Lal Kitab says this thing that definitely the wisdom is that no matter how smartly you have committed a sin, but when you will be in the influence of Saturn, Saturn will still find you. No matter where you are hiding, Saturn will find you and will punish you or will deliver the justice. So same is the way in Lal Kitab, Venus is seen as the cow, and because Ketu, which represents the male progeny, it's the Ketu only which is responsible for our lineage to get carry forwarded. So Ketu can be seen as a young cow or a calf. So we say that like the way a cow, no matter in a Gaushala, in a place where cows are kept, no matter there are how many calves which look equally same and alike to each other, but the mother will still be able to find her calf in the crowd of so many young calves. So same is the way wheresoever Ketu is placed, somehow it manifests the energies of Venus as well. This is the dictum which Lal Kitab follows, because mother or a cow which is being represented by Venus, and if Ketu is representing a young calf, so mother will definitely be able to find it. So many Lal Kitab practitioners also say this thing that in whichever house Ketu is going to be placed in the chart, somehow it manifests the good qualities of Venus in the same house as well. So now friends, coming to the conclusion, definitely the influence of Sun on Venus, or this chemistry can be understood in this way that definitely Sun's debilitation is going to get cancelled with the Venus's entry in the Libra sign. Saturn's 10th aspect is not gonna cost much trouble. Rather, if you're an artist, you are a creative person, you are working very hard in your craft, Saturn can actually give you reward for all of your hard work as well. But again, if just because Ketu and Saturn, they both are influencing the Venus in the Libra this time, so if you have not been fair or you have not conducted good actions towards the feminine influence in your life, so a lot many people can get punished as well because of this entry and this influence of Ketu on Venus. And lastly friends, just because Ketu represents the hypercritical qualities, so this can also give hyper attention or too much of the focus pertaining to the Venus in quality. So for someone who has been single for a long time, so suddenly you are feeling very isolated, very lonely, concerns of not being able to find someone might bother you to the extremes during this time, or someone who is very much devoted and concerned towards the materialism and lot of luxury, so hyper focus towards the like amassing lot many luxury items, luxury things. And lastly friends, because for all the spiritually oriented people, this can be seen as a very good sign, because it can actually elevate your degree and sense of love towards the universal love. So for the creative and the spiritually oriented people, this can still be seen as a blessing in disguise. So okay friends, now we will shift our discussion to the customized results for all the Lagna. So friends, starting first with the Aries Lagna people. So now guys, in your case, Venus has got the rulership of your second house of your finances and seventh house of the relationship. Now one thing which I can say with confidence, that whatsoever you have been going through pertaining to the matters of your finances or in the relationship, things are gonna get little bit better for you, because Venus being combust and debilitated, now at least it is gonna get little bit better. But again friends, because of the influence of Ketu over here, partner might demand lot of your attention and you might have to completely suppress your ego in front of your partner. So this is a kind of a combination which is getting formed, where the power, the balance of the power is shifting more towards your partner. So remain very much welcoming towards that, honor that, honor all the feminine influence in your life. Recitation of Shri Suktam will also become very important for you. And I would say, friends, that somehow, because this is a very hypercritical energy of Venus, so like I would say that do not get very obsessed pertaining to the Venusian influence. Now this could be luxury, this could be shopping, this could be in the matters of love as well, like specifically all those people who have been single for a long time. So the like passion is gonna take you very deep within, like the prospects of love or not being able to find someone. So all those qualities might impact you in a very stronger way. So I would say that recitation of Shri Suktam will definitely guard and channelize your energies in the right direction. And people who are connected with the fields of like art, creativity, beauty, fashion, they can actually expect some good returns as well. Venus's entry in your 7th house and with other planetary contribution can give rise to recognition, reward basis the actions, deeds which you have done. And also, friends, like let's say for example, if in any way Ketu is currently active in your life and your actions are very like questionable, kind of a very pervasive kind of lifestyle and personality you have, then you have to remain very cautious, because whatsoever is gonna be happening, it is gonna have straight impact on your public image as well. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Taurus Lagna people. So now guys, in your case, Venus becomes your ascendant lord, and it is going to be transiting in your 6th house. So now friends, the thumb rule of understanding the transit is that ascendant lord always has good intention, good in store for us. And just because lately Venus was combust, it was debilitated in the 5th house of your intellect, of your investments, of love, romance. So I would say that things are definitely gonna get a little bit better for a lot many Taurus Lagna people. Second thing is that if let's say for example, you are engaged in the Venusian field, you are working in the advertising agency, in the films, television, fashion industry, anything to do with the designing, and your work ethics are very perfectionist, you are a very hardworking, very dedicated, very devoted person, a very devoted employee. So all the hard work being done by you, put forth by you, can actually generate some very good results in the form of rewards, appreciation, being considered for a new role. Also friends, see, when we talk about the work conditions, so sometimes what happens is that definitely we keep on getting into clashes with co-workers, with the colleagues, with the subordinates. Sometimes it's because of our own ego, sometimes it's because of the work pressure. So all those clashes, all those differences are fine, but you have to understand this thing when your Venus is transiting in the 6th house in the influence of Ketu. So I would say that remain very respectful, specifically towards the female co-workers and colleagues. So getting into arguments for the improvement of work or projects and targets, that's one thing, but there has to be respect and refrain from any sort of perversive behavior, otherwise that could land you in problem. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Gemini Lagna people. So now guys, in your case, Venus becomes a very important planet because the Mool Trikona sign falls in your one of the important trine house. So I would say that pertaining to the matters of love, romance, there will definitely be a depth in your understanding with your partner. Also, for all those people who have been single for a long time, this entry of Venus in the 5th house can actually develop the energy or churn up the energy of some soul level connection as well. Also a very good time for people connected with the fields of art, entertainment, creativity. You will definitely put your heart and soul in your craft, and some sort of divine inspiration, new ideas can also surprise you that how can I think about such a marvelous idea. Also for people who are very much in the bhakti path, in devotion and all of that, very good energy for them. Recitation of Shri Suktam will become very important for you. Now friends, when we talk about the financial side of this transit for your Lagna, so over there you have to remain a little bit cautious, because definitely 5th house is the house of our investments, and the influence of Ketu over here can take you to any far end. So I would say that it can give you very windfall gain, or it can actually bring you back to the zero. So that is the only reason I would say that in any important financial decision making where there is a lot of risk and uncertainties involved, so it will be better to wait for the planetary energies to get little bit mellowed, or at least wait for this whole eclipse energy to pass through. Then you can think about those big heavy financial investments, even at your work front as well. I will not advise you for thinking about any important shift or change at your work front as well, because planetary energies are right now is in a very sensitive alignment. In your case guys, just because Ketu's transit from the trine houses like 5th house, 9th house always generates this result that 5th house also has got the information of our past life merits as well. So we also get the result of all that information and all that encrypted karma which has been stored in our Akashic records. So this can be a very good time for spiritual leanings, a very good time for those artistic creative inspirations. In the matters of finances, you have to remain careful, and during this time some soul level connection can be generated. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Cancer Lagna people. So now guys, in your case, as you can see that Venus is going to be entering your 4th house, and it is going to be getting conjunct with Ketu and Sun. So definitely friends, Venus becomes a very important planet for you guys. It has got the rulership of your connections, of your gains, and it has also got the rulership of your house of comforts. So I would say that it's a very good time, specifically feeling that feel good factor. But again, because the qualities of the Cancer Lagna people are that they can go to the depth of their emotions. Now again, I would say that during this time, just channelize your energies in the right direction, because Venus is the planet because of which we are interested in this world, because Venus gives us that feeling of love, being nurtured, being taken care of. Life is beautiful, there is so much goodness in the world, getting attracted towards someone. So because of which, and 4th house is the house of all those emotions of ours. So definitely for the artistic, creatively inclined people, this can be a time of good inspiration, that feel good factor. Even in the domestic life as well, some good events or that feel good factor can be experienced. But again friends, because all these 3 houses like 4th house, 8th house, 12th house are the moksha sthana as well. So regarding the devotional spiritual aspect, this can be seen as a very good time. It is not a very good time to contemplate on the lack of your life. Many times what happens is that if you have been single for a long time, or in those cases where your partner is not very much contributing in the relationship, so if you will get to the pessimistic side of the love, of romance, of relationship, it can actually take you to the depth of it. So refrain from going there, which can drain your energy. And I would say that for all those people who are in the business of luxury, luxury goods or cars, decoration, so a very good time for all those people, because as you can see that the influence of Sun, Ketu, Venus, it's not only about the present, but also all that hard work which you have been putting in, the reward or the result of that can come to you surprisingly, suddenly, with this entry of Venus in your 4th house. But the good part over here is that friends, the feel good factor will definitely come in your deeper psyche, and taking out time for meditation will be very rejuvenating, specifically when Venus will be transiting from your 4th house. Now friends, for all the Leo Lagna people, so guys, in your case, Venus is going to be entering your 3rd house. Now Venus becomes a very important planet for you guys, because as you can see, it has got the rulership of your 10th house, of your actions, of your professional endeavors. So this can be seen as a good time, because friends, I will be very honest with you, because this is a kind of a typical energy where either you will establish some new friendship, new connection, or there will be a sudden breakup with the existing connections and all of that. So driven by your whims or your passion or sudden surge of energy, do not take any headstrong decision, because this is how the planetary energy is going to be influencing a lot many Leo Lagna people. Now friends, when we talk about people connected with the fields of art, entertainment, creativity, so definitely this is a time when you will act as a perfectionist, you will give too much attention towards the details. So a very good time for people connected with the art and entertainment and creative fields. Even in the matters of your professional connections and networking, it is still making you a little bit vulnerable, because 10th house lord although it is in a strong dignity, but because it has gone 6th from its place, and most importantly Ketu, influence of Ketu, and with your ascendant lord being in a debilitated state, so I would say that confidence, like lack of confidence, is still gonna be troubling you, and driven by your insecurities. Do not take any sudden decision in your connections, in your relationship. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Virgo Lagna people. So guys, in your case, like Venus becomes a very important planet. It has got the rulership of your 9th house of your luck and fortune. So its transit will definitely be an important transit for you. Now, at the time when I uploaded a video on Sun's transit for you guys, I mentioned this thing that because Sun has got the rulership of your 12th house, 12th house lord getting debilitated in the 2nd house is always a matter of concern pertaining to your financial management. But over and above that, friends, because Venus represents our connections, our relationship, and many times people get confused. See, 11th house tells about our networking. Like many times we go in those parties where we are smiling, like it's a social protocol which we have to follow, irrespective of the fact whether you care for that person or not. 3rd house definitely tells about your friends, your neighbors and everything. But over there as well, sometimes we are just following the social protocol, making people happy. But when we talk about those connections or those people who are very dear and very close to us, that is something which we see from the 2nd house. So I would say that this energy of Venus and Ketu, just try to remain very cautious with your behavior, because Ketu can actually, create a sudden rift or sudden misunderstanding or certain misallocation, sharing of the financial or family funds, or within the family as well. Some of the ghosts or wounds of the past, misunderstanding of the past can suddenly trouble couple of the Virgo Lagna people. So just try to remain a little bit cautious, careful. If your ongoing dashas are also not running favorable, so do not act something or do not act on those repressed emotions or feelings which is gonna cost your relations with people who are very close to you. And as a part of the remedy, friends, I would say this thing that specifically because we will be celebrating Diwali, where we do the worship and prayer to the goddess Lakshmi as well. So specifically the female members of your family, keep them happy, bring gifts for them, stay very much respectful, concerned, caring towards them. Recitation of the Shri Suktam will become very important for you. And this is how I want to say pertaining to the matters of the transit results for the Virgo Lagna people. And just because, friends, 2nd house is the actual house of our finances as well. And if you're already engaged in the Venusian field, so during this time, some of the contract or investment of yours. Now when I say investment can be done in the finances as well, and investment can be done in the relationship on the people as well. So in the past, if you have been good towards someone, you helped someone, during this time, if you are connected in the Venusian field, so favor might be returned with some good lucrative opportunity. So this is how you can see or understand this entry or this influence of Venus in your 2nd house. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Libra Lagna people. So guys, in your case, it's the homecoming of your ascendant lord, but during this time it is going to get surprised because 2 planets are already waiting for it to welcome it. So yes, the influence of Ketu and Sun in the 1st house is a very kind of a very eccentric energy during this year's Venus's transit in the Libra. So the point which I'm trying to say over here is that whatsoever happens from the 1st house, it has got a control and say in all areas of our life. So first of all, it's a very good time specifically for all those people who are connected with the who are very regular with their sadhana, with their meditation, with their yoga, because I have been saying this thing a lot many times that the time of eclipse as well is considered as a very good time for spiritual elevation, for infusing power in any mantra. So because of which at the time of eclipse as well, when it's not only like the eclipse taking place in the axis of Aries and Libra in your 1st house and 7th house axis, but also your ascendant lord is also a part of that. So it's a very good news if you are very spiritually oriented person. So this is one thing, friends, which I want to say in the matters of business, in the matters of relationship. It's a time when the energy of Ketu on your Venus can make you very, very hypercritical, and you might go to the depth of it. Like a lot many times what happen is that the concerns and the relationship of the past suddenly troubling you, coming to your subconsciousness. Now this could be the memories, or this could be the actual people. And the good part over here is that this is a kind of energy in your first house. Over here, if any new connections will be formed, they will be very soul level connection, very deep level connection, which will get formed when this is how, like, I can say, because the overall planetary energy and alignment is getting formed in a very esoteric, in a very karmic way. But again, the beauty of that is that whatsoever you will attract in your life during this time, it will be very deep. It will have a very soul level connection. That is something which I want to say for all the Libra Lagna people. But yes friends, pertaining to the matters of the finances and everything, try to remain a little bit cautious. Do not act out of impulse, in any sort of haste. And yes, so that is something which I want to say for the Libra Lagna people. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Scorpio rising people. So guys, in your case, this concentration is taking place in your 12th house. So again friends, it's not a very good energy, because this is a kind of a typical combination which can make someone very perversive. And like many times what happens is that all those repressed emotions and feelings which you have been holding up within you, so in a blast, in a sudden way, things getting triggered, and your impulses, whims made you do something which landed you in trouble, getting entangled in controversies. And in many cases, we all have seen in Hollywood, in Bollywood, like all those Me Too movement, where like suddenly after 15 years, those old controversies are still coming on surface in the media, circulating in the media. So it's a very highly tumultuous energy, I would say. So it has got a very red flag, alarming, cautionary signs for all those people who are very perversive in their nature, or in the past you have been in and out of all the scandals and controversies. Then you have to remain very, very extra cautious. And for someone who's very spiritually oriented, you are very much devoted towards your spiritual elevation, and because during this time all the eclipses are going to be taking place in your 12th house only, so it's a highly a time and window of opportunity to elevate your consciousness. So I would say that it all comes down to individual in which way it is getting applicable or getting qualified in your case. Expenses can go very high during this time, and keep your impulses in control, and just remain very much respectful towards the feminine influence all around you. And I would say that pertaining to the matters of relationship, it's not a very good energy, like signing a contract, giving your word to someone, or meeting people, or establishing connections with people where there is a lot of vagueness, there is not much of the clarity. So if you will come across those kind of situation, it will be better to pull yourself out of it, or just remain extra alert. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Sagittarius Lagna people. So now guys, in your case, Venus is going to be entering your 11th house. So definitely friends, like when we talk about from the perspective of the role of Venus in your life, in your Lagna, so Venus is not a very auspicious planet for you, but just because it's transit in the 11th house many times gives some very important prominent connections. And specifically because Ketu is also involved over here, so some sort of important deeper connections with people. Like many times what happens is that some very good friend of yours with whom you might have lost the connection, suddenly that person might appear in your life, or like all those people whom you know on daily basis, but you never knew about this deeper side of their personality. So this is how this entry of Venus in your 11th house can behave or manifest results. Also friends, at your work front as well, because in your case Venus has got the rulership of his 6th house as well. So at your work front as well, some deeper level of being a part of a teamwork, collaborative work, being able to perform good as a team player can be foreseen. And just because the 6th house energy is coming in, Sun is debilitated in the 11th house, Venus is coming in the influence of Ketu. So at your work front as well, your actions, your behavior towards the feminine influence around your workplace has to be very disciplined, has to be very respectful, Otherwise, it could entangle you in some sort of controversy, some sort of problem, which will have a negative impact on your public image. Now friends, for all the Capricorn Lagna people, so definitely guys, in your case, Venus becomes your Karaka planet, and its entry in the 10th house will definitely generate good results. Specifically, if you have done something good or you have been doing good from the past so long, because in your case, Saturn is also right now transiting in your first house. So Saturn is a planet which never forgets, or which is always fair in its judgment, in its decision. So that is the reason I'm saying this thing, that because Venus is your 5th house lord as well. So being very hypercritical at your work front, regarding your work relationship, regarding connections, regarding the work which you have been doing. So specifically, if you are connected with the Venusian field, it can be a very prominent important time for you, where some good connections, new opportunities can still come. And many times what happen is that whatsoever is gonna happen, the process of that, the chain reaction of that might have started long time back, and during this time you will just see the results getting manifested. So in the past you invested in some idea, in some people, in some projects, and the result of that might get manifested in a very sudden way. This is how you can see Venus manifesting results with its transit, with its entry in your 10th house. And friends, I've already mentioned this thing, whether you are a student right now or you are connected with the fields of art, entertainment, creativity, this can be seen as a very good sign. For all those people in whose case, like you are anticipating any award or something, or during this time only, any of your new show is getting launched, or you have to give any performances and all of that. So not only your performance is going to be very deep, very intense, very meticulous, but also it will receive very intense and very stark kind of results, reviews. So now again friends, it all depends on what work you have done, like the way. And in the business of media, any publicity is good publicity. So like even if you follow the Bollywood and all these movie teasers and all of that, so recently I do not know who was the advisor of that filmmakers, that they released a teaser of upcoming movie at a very sensitive transit alignment. And because so much money has been invested in a project, and the first response of that, so it generated very kind of very stark and very strong emotional response from the world, from the crowd, from the audience. So that is something which I am saying over here, that the response will be very intense, will be very strong. Now this can go in any direction. Now that will be dependent on the strength of your chart, what kind of dashas you are going through, and with how much honesty you have put forth work in your craft. And also friends, at your work front as well, because 10th house is your public image, is your broad daylight actions. Remain very much respectful towards the feminine influence all around you. Worship of the goddess Lakshmi, recitation of the Shri Suktam can bring some very good results. Moving ahead friends, now for the Aquarius Lagna people. So now guys, in your case, definitely Venus becomes your Yokarka planet. Now when I see Ketu in the 9th house, I do not have much to say other than just worship the goddess Lakshmi. Recite Shri Suktam or Mahalakshmi Ashtakam, or whatsoever mantra you can find of the goddess Lakshmi. Also, like there are certain other remedies as well, like taking a curd bath on Fridays, or donating the white things at the places of religious and spiritual significance can actually give more strength and power to your Venus as well. So friends, now as you can see over here, that because Venus in your case has got the rulership of your 4th house as well. So during this time, I would say that specifically it's a very good time for taking any pilgrimage, like with your family members, going on a religious pilgrimage. Now that seems to be very difficult, because we all, and a lot many Indian families, they must have already started preparing for the Diwali and all these festive preparations. But still, I would say that any religious pilgrimage, religious gesture will manifest some very good results. And also friends, because 9th house is the important house of our luck, of all sort of travels, any of the concerns of immigration and all of that. So if your ongoing dashas are also running favorable, so looking at the auspicious muhurta, you can think about initiating any process where the ninth house support you need, or if your aspirations are surrounding around the ninth house energy, like filing for any overseas university admission, any of the import export nature of business, immigration related concerns and all of that. So a very good time period for initiating cycle or process of that on the specific days when muhurta is going to be favorable for you. And during this time, some sort of deeper connection with your mentors, with your guides in your life can also be foreseen with this entry of Venus in your ninth house. Now friends, and lastly for the Pisces rising people, so now guys, in your case Venus is going to be entering your 8th house. So although divine is right now protecting you with the entry of Jupiter ever since Jupiter has entered your 1st house, so it's a very good time for sadhana, for meditation, for doing yoga. I have said this thing so many times that we are heading towards the time of eclipses, which open up the window of opportunity for the spiritual seekers who want to give power to any of the mantra, any of the spiritual practice and all of that. So from that perspective, this is a very good energy. We say this thing that influence of Ketu on the Venus, it takes your prospects of love, devotion, love for luxury to its depth. So just try to find the right depth of spiritual elevation in your case. And pertaining to the matters of the joint resources and all of that, this can suddenly create some rift or some misunderstanding. So whether we talk about your matrimonial joint resources or for all those people who are in business of their own, so in the matters of the allocation of the funds or the partnership and all of that, so over there you have to remain a little bit cautious. This can suddenly create an energy of misunderstanding or a split, or being all those information which was hidden from you suddenly getting revealed to you. So remain very much cautious towards that. And lastly, if you're in your actions there is any sort of perversive behavior is involved, or you are a person with a very hedonistic lifestyle, so this is not a very good sign. Any of the over indulgences in intoxicants, in like this could be alcohol, this could be drugs, this could be sex, can land you in problem. So just remain very much disciplined pertaining to the matters of the 8th house. So this is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this upcoming transit of Venus in the Libra sign. For further more updates and notifications on the divine signs of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.